Coach, you want to say a couple things to get things rolling, then we'll take some questions?
There's more of us up here at the table than there is out there. Yeah, right now, bad sinus cold, I think. I hope that's all it is. Can't talk. I can yell a little bit, so we've already practiced, so everything's okay. But it's getting to be closer and closer, so that makes it more exciting and more scary, too, because I've watched more Oregon tape, so it's a little bit of both, more exciting and more scary.
If you have a question for Coach Williams, please raise your hand. We'll send a microphone attendant in your direction. Please state your name and media outlet before we get to your question. And coming in on the left side is Jim from Westwood One. Jim.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Coach, there's some advantages coming in as a veteran team.
Yeah.
But there's also a little bit of baggage that comes with it, too. I mean, that was a heartbreaker last year in that final championship. How do you help the guys who were there last year and back this year, how do you help them get rid of that so they can just play the game they have to play?
You know, Jim, I think you're right. There is a little bit of both, but I haven't sensed that our team has many thoughts in a negative manner about what happened last year except for the final outcome. And we use that as fuel to motivate us over the summer to work harder. And we haven't made it openly with coach's advice. We haven't made it our mantra that we're all standing around holding hands, chanting, 4.7 seconds or anything like that. So the kids know about it. Even the freshmen, I said, hey, you didn't have anything to do with it. Just be excited. And the older guys tried to tell them to be excited about it as well. But you're right. I mean, it's a heartache that you can't erase. It's always going to be there. But I do think that once the game starts, or even the game day preparations, I don't think they'll be thinking about that. I really believe they'll just be focusing on Oregon. Thank you.
If you have a question for Coach Williams, please raise your hand and identify yourself by name and media outlet before you get to your question. Questions for Coach?
If you don't have any questions, we could dim the lights and take a 15-minute nap.
That sounds nice, Coach. But we have one
right.
now streaking in on the right side.
Jiminy Christmas.
Got to catch my breath. Brett Friedlander, North State Journal. Roy, in 05, you had a backup point guard who started as a freshman in Melvin Scott. In 09, you had the same with Bobby Frazier. This time you've got Nate Britt, who started as a freshman and has been there for 4 years now. Considering Joel's situation and how he might be limited, how valuable is it to have a guy like Nate, and how much does that experience help him?
There's no question he's played a lot of basketball games for us with a lot of experience. Been there a lot of good times and a few bad ones as well, so that does help. I was scared to death in 2012 after Kendall got hurt because we really didn't have anybody that had been on the big stage. And Stillman did a magnificent job considering all the factors. But I like it better when you have someone who's been there and been asked to do it all year long, and you're more comfortable. The rest of the guys are more comfortable with him. So hopefully that'll translate to better play on the court.
If you have a question for Coach Williams, please raise your hand. We'll send a microphone attendant in your direction. Please state your name and media outlet before presenting your question. Questions for Coach? We have a follow-up on the right side.
Yeah.
Thanks. What are CB McGrath's strengths as an assistant coach, and why do you feel like he may someday become a good head coach?
He's extremely intelligent, very organized, has a passion for the game, has a desire to put teams together to try to, as I always say, make sacrifices towards a common goal. Loves working with young people, does see the big picture all the time. I think he has every skill that you would want a prospective coach to have.
On the left side, Coach, just to the right of the aisle.
If and when that happens.
Hey, Coach. Hayden Herrera, NBC 16 in Eugene. I know people have asked about when you and Coach Altman used to face off against each other at Kansas and Kansas State. Are those memories still just fresh, the days of Allen Fieldhouse going out there? I looked it up, though. I don't want to make you feel old. The first time you guys met was 10 days before I was born.
Son, I'm older than anybody in here, so you're not making me feel bad at all. But, no, I have good memories. I was always had a great deal of respect for Lon Kruger and his staff, and that's who was coaching at K-State when I first got there. And then Dana took over. I'm very sincere. I said something about the jump shot that Anthony Bean made to beat us in the field house when we were number one. It changed the way that I think about that same scenario. But Dana did a great job there and has done a great job everywhere he's been. And I genuinely like him as a person, but have a great deal of respect for him and the way he coaches. He's a family guy. He appreciates the right things and the good things about college athletics.
On the right side of the aisle, Myron.
Myron Metcalf, ESPN. Roy, last week you had a lot of success attacking Bam Adebayo, getting him into early foul trouble. How much does that help your team as you guys go after Jordan Bell and try to do the same thing?
Well, it's basically, Myron, what we've tried to do all year with everybody is we do try to establish the inside game first, and it's helped us in a lot of games. It's the kind of thing that I believe in, and so I would think that we would try to go out there and not shoot too many fadeaway jump shots with our big guys. And I don't think I'll see Kennedy and Isaiah pull up from three on the break or anything. If we do see that, it'll be the last time we see it. So I've always felt like going inside was really important, and this year's team it's been important to them and helped us a great deal in a lot of games. The tough thing is that Bell's so daggum athletic, sometimes you can go right at him and he still blocks a shot, and he's a very gifted youngster.
Back of the room in the center.
Coach, Eddie Pels from AP. We've talked a lot about experience and things like that. I'm just curious, what's your take in general in college basketball of the one and done rule?
I would like to have some of those guys. I try to recruit them too. For us, and again, those of you got here late, I've just got a terrible sinus deal running this morning, and it's quite literally running. I'd love to have a great mix would be my best choice. Have guys that you think are going to be around for 3 or 4 years, but you always like to have that talent of the one and dones as well. Everyone would choose experienced talent over everything, but when you play golf, some guys like to hit a draw, some guys like to hit a fade. You're still trying to get to the middle of the fairway, and that's the way it is in basketball. You choose how you can recruit successfully and try to stick with that and get the best players you can that are willing to make those sacrifices. But there's no perfect rule. I don't think LeBron made a mistake, and yet there's a lot of guys that did make a mistake. I've used so many of these napkins this morning, I feel like I should get a cut. But I do think that that's what college basketball is. It's different guys having different ways to do things.
On the right side of the room, Nicole.
Nicole Auerbach, USA Today. Roy, I know Theo's coming out here, and I think he just crashed another press conference with Joel Berry back there. What is he in kind of the lightness and the humor and the joking, and how does he keep the team loose when you want to be in certain points of the year?
Well, he is a very shy youngster, as you can tell. It's very difficult for him to be involved in crowds, but that's who Theo is.
On cue.
That's harder than he ran back on defense all freaking year.
That's funny.
Yeah. Truth hurts, big fella. But I do think that he's good for our team. Everybody's got their own personality, and I do try to let guys be themselves as long as it's not harmful or takes away from what we're trying to do. And I think he's a guy that everybody truly enjoys. And people enjoy laughing at him as well as they do with him. And he's full-fledged. He gives you reasons for both.
We're joined by the King of News Conferences, Theo Pinson, as well as Justin Jackson. And, of course, head coach Roy Williams is with us. Questions for any of the three? Let's go to the left of the aisle. Curry, microphone for you.
Roy and the guys, anybody, how much have you kidded Luke about his new one celebrity on Monday, TMZ, all over every class, probably every restaurant, went everywhere on campus, probably, right?
Theo first, then Justin, then Coach.
Yeah, it was funny because I just told somebody else this. Me and Coach was in the center court, and we had shoot around on Tuesday. And Luke was over there by himself, shooting by himself, after he just hit a game-winning shot. And,
no rebounder.
No rebounder, just by himself. Everybody else had a rebounder but Luke. And we just had a kick out of it. He's handled it great. He's a great kid, and I'm really happy for him.
Justin.
Yeah, I have the opportunity of being his roommate, and I've probably been a little more mean to him since that happened, just to kind of keep him a little more humble. Because I mean, it's to see his name everywhere, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a testament to the hard work that he put in the off season. I mean, he was, like I've said before, he was in there a ton with me. He was in there with everybody, with Jonas, everybody, and so it's cool to see that finally kind of translate and for it to be that big of a shot.
And Coach.
I think one of the things Justin said there really sticks out with me is that everybody on the team is very proud of him, very happy for him, but they also realize how much work he put in and what he does in the weight room and in the work he's done in the off season to try to make himself be a better player. And so I think everyone is happy that that's been justified by how much work he did put in, and he was in the right spot at the right time, and he made the right play.
On the left side, Jermaine.
Jermaine Franklin with TSN. This is for both players. How much does the fact that you guys were here last year help in terms of experience, and is there unfinished business, obviously?
Well,
does that help with motivation?
Let's have Theo take that one.
Theo, you got it.
I don't think – I mean, it's a new game. I mean, it's a new Final Four, new team. I think we're just taking it one game at a time. Right now we're focused on Oregon. I mean, I think the same jitters will be there, but I think we'll be all right once the ball goes up. I think everybody's just ready to play the game. We did lose it last year, but at the same time, we know what we have to take care of first, and that's Oregon.
Justin?
I think the offseason was the biggest part where we felt like we had unfinished business. Like Theo said, now we're here for Oregon, and, we don't look past that or anything. We're focusing on Oregon, and I think, the whole unfinished business or revenge, I don't know how you can have revenge on a team that wasn't the person that took it from you. And so for us, we're just trying to focus on Oregon, and that's it.
Continuing with questions for the North Carolina student athletes or Coach Williams, we have one right in the center of the room.
Jackson Cowart, Daily Tar Heel. Coach, what does your guys' length allow you to do defensively that you couldn't otherwise? And Justin, what does your length allow you to do offensively that maybe you wouldn't otherwise?
Let's have Justin take that first, then we'll go back to Coach.
For me, I mean, it helps to be 6'8". So inside I'm able to shoot over top of people a little bit more. And then, I don't necessarily need as much space to shoot over top of people. So I think, I think that's just a God-given blessing that allows me to kind of take advantage of some things on the court.
Coach.
And the same thing, I think what he said was great. And on the defensive end of the floor, it allows you to give the guy a little more space and still be able to bother his shot. But if you give him a little more space, then perhaps it helps you guard him when he tries to take the ball to the basket off the dribble.
If you have a question for Coach Williams or Justin or Theo, please raise your hand. We'll send a microphone steward in your direction. Any further questions for North Carolina? There's going to be one on the right side of the aisle. Myron.
Justin, Joel said he's about 85%. How much more confident are you guys now knowing that, he feels pretty good today?
I don't think we ever had a thought in our mind that he wasn't going to play. The type of competitor that he is and this type of stage. Plus, I feel like he's had an off day the past 3 days in a row. And so I don't think
he better play.
I don't think if he can't play, there's something more wrong.
Yeah,
but
Jesus.
I don't think there was ever a thought in our mind that he wasn't going to play. Just the type of guy that he is. But it does give us more confidence knowing that he'll be out there with us.
Put him out in the street, taking 3 days off.
Anything further for Coach Williams? Let's go back to the gentleman from the Daily Tar Heel in the middle.
I guess to any of you guys, how do you attack the lane differently when you have a shot blocker like Bell controlling the paint?
Theo first, please, then Justin.
This is going to be
good. I think that's the beauty of the ACC. We're going against a lot of guys that's really good shot blockers, so it'd just be another game. But that dude is a freak. I mean, he's really athletic. I remember him in high school. He affected shots then. But he's going to be another challenge, and hopefully we can get him out the game so he can stop affecting shots.
Justin.
I think he bids for almost every shot that he thinks he can go get. So I think there's going to be a lot of times where pump fakes might be involved. There might be drop-offs that might be involved. And then other times you just got to go straight into his chest, I guess. And like Theo said, whenever he's not on the court, yeah. When he's not on the court, it's way easier to play. And so, it'll be key to try to get him in foul trouble, and that'll make it easier for us.
And, Coach, did you have anything on?
No, they did a really nice job.
Any further questions for North Carolina at this time? There's one down in the front. Steve?
Coach Williams, obviously you've been here so many times, and I'm guessing you never get tired of it. But can you talk about what it means to you to be able to continuously, you have two schools that have never been here before. Oregon was here as far back as you can go, 39
before I was
the first
born,
time.
yeah.
I know. Long before you were born.
Oh, really?
All right, I'll give you the scoop first. We're going to have a change in our starting lineup.
But what does it mean to be able to, year after year, this continued success you've had?
It's very satisfying. It means I've had a lot of good players, and that is really truthful. But I enjoy it. I mean, every year I think it gets better and better. The excitement of the first one in 1991, which before either one of these guys were born, was just off the charts. And then I went back in 93, and I thought, well, I was supposed to do this quite a bit. And we skipped from 93 till 2002, so it was an 8 or 9 year gap in there. So I think I appreciate it even more. I realize how difficult it is, and so I try to make sure that I realize how thankful I should be to have the kind of kids that have gotten me there. And I really do say it this way. If you find somebody that says it differently what I'm just getting ready to say, they're lying. I never say I've been to 9 Final Fours. I always say that we've been to 9 Final Fours, and usually I put it that our players have taken me to 9 Final Fours, and fortunately I've taken my high school coach with me for 9 Final Fours. My mom was only able to go to the first one, and then she passed away, and it was really a thrill for her. This is what you coach for. You coached for trying to get your team to be the best, and every year I hope that we're one of those teams that can be talked about that has a chance to be the best. And I kid these guys, but we're getting ready to do my favorite practice of all time, because we're going out there and practice, and there's only 4 out of 351, and those other guys are not practicing, but I'm still practicing, so I love that.
On the right side to the left of the aisle, Curry.
So many of these, it's kind of unique. The other 3 guys have not been to any. These social things that you do during the week and interact with them, if they asked you any advice on how to handle this, would you give it to them?
I definitely would, Frank or Mark. I try to hold anything I can from Dana. No, we had a chance to talk a little bit last night, but the good thing is that I considered those 3 guys friends before this happened. Guys that I really have a ton of respect for. Mark Few has almost been like a little brother to me for a long, long time. That's what I think of him. I mean, he calls me last year on his son's birthday to ask me how to play one of the card games we used to play on the Nike coaches trip, because his son wanted to make sure that I want to do it the right way, that kind of thing. And Frank's been a great friend, saved me one night. I landed a plane, and I didn't land it as far as flying it, but landed a plane in Kentucky. Somebody was supposed to pick me up. It was pitch black dark. There is nothing there. There's one car sitting there, and the guy that was supposed to pick me up wasn't there, and I got no idea where I am, where I'm going, and sitting in the car thinking, okay, he's just not here yet. And another plane landed, and it was Frank and Bob Huggins. And I see them in the rearview mirror, and so I slide down in the seat a little bit, and then when they walk by me, I beeped the horn, scared the bejeebies out of both of them. And But if it hadn't been for Frank, neither one, me or Hugs, neither one knew how to get to the dadgum game. So so the story, as Hug says, they've saved my life for many, many times. But and then Dana, we had some great battles, great games when I was at Kansas. So I consider all three of those guys good friends to begin with. And then let's be honest too, I've coached at two pretty good places. I've coached at Kansas and in North Carolina, and it's not easy to get here, but it's easier at those two places. And I'm not trying to be humble. I'm being what I think is truthful. It's easier to get here with the coach at the places that I've been coaching. And so I don't pat myself on the back too much about that.
We want to thank Coach Williams and Justin and Theo for joining us here in the main interview room.